Y'all are gonna unsub me for saying this because I'm a little bit embarrassed myself, guys. Sakura was not only the star of this week's episode, but this was probably one of her best moments in the entire series, if not her best moment, probably since her fight with Sasori. It's not my traditional dialogue on Sakura, but when she destroyed that operating room and we see her and Shin going at it hand-to-hand combat, you see Shin manipulating the entire environment, Sakura's just dodging everything, she's throwing things at him, she sets up an explosive tag. She really held her own against Shin, a Mangekyo Sharingan user. Y'all are gonna hate me for this, but she was a Hokage in that fight. I mean, she barely got hit, keep in mind, and the only reason she was even hurt was because when she did get hit, Shin was basically using, all these eyeballs on his head, basically the magnetic abilities to, keep digging into her flesh. It's not like she made a stupid move and got blitzed. You had Shin targeting her from every single angle, and this isn't me hyping Sakura up, right? Like, he was taking blades from everywhere, he was creating these big giant shuriken, he was just throwing them at Sakura, he was controlling them, and Sakura, again, didn't make one dumb decision in that entire fight. And like, God, when I was watching Sakura, I forgot that this was even Sakura. I really forgot this is the same Sakura that literally jumped ahead in the fight in the War Arc and basically got stabbed by Madara. I forgot this was the same Sakura because when I saw Sakura in this episode, I thought it was like Naruto or Sasuke fighting for a second. Like, I just lost track. This is a perfect example of what the studios can do when they take all of their time and resources and devote it towards, giving one character all the spotlight. They take material from the manga and they turn it into a piece of art because Naruto anime is not perfect by any means. It has its dull moments, it has its dull animation to where it's like, yo, let me just go and fap, like this animation ain't good, like I'm kind of horny right now, like I'd rather fap than watch this. Naruto ain't a flawless series, I'm just somebody who likes to focus on the positives over the negatives, otherwise why am I talking about this on YouTube, right? But when the studios do something like what they did with Sakura at the beginning of this episode, man, I just want to go out in public and shout, Naruto's the greatest freaking series of all time. Like, if every fight was this solid in the series. Now, it's true, Sasuke does come in and save Sakura. She can't do it all alone. She would have got killed by that giant shuriken because eventually she got cornered. We're talking about someone with like 10 Mangekyo Sharingans on his head. This dude is probably, at the very least, on Jonin level. You could say Sakura's on Jonin level too, but there's levels to this shit, right? If you have two Jonins, it doesn't mean they're equal, right? One Jonin could be a higher level Jonin than another Jonin. Sasuke Susanoo this week, not only is he flying high in the sky, he finds Shin's hideout, but he ends up saving Sakura in time, and oh man, like, there's just something about seeing Sasuke drill the freaking, giant shuriken down, and then get Shin at the same time fucking up his leg. Like, it's probably my bisexual inclinations that kind of came through, but Sasuke was on a sexy shit, that's all I'm gonna say, right? And when he burned those blades in Sakura's arm, I'm like, yo, power couple shit. A lot of us complain about this relationship, like, how did it even happen? Sakura's always been obsessed with Sasuke. Sasuke didn't care at all. Some people were saying that he was gay at one point in the series. And yes, I ain't buying no cringe excuses from Sasuke. Like, Sarada asks, what's the proof that your feelings are connected to Sakura, Daddy? And then Daddy responds, well, your proof that you don't. No, that ain't an answer at all, Sasuke. But while we complain about it, and while we also say that Sakura's, a shitty character and she's useless, Sakura was anything but useless in this week's episode. And honestly, this episode made me it gave me a newfound respect for her. Because not only did she save her daughter, she never accidentally stabbed her daughter, right? She was there in that laboratory fending off on her own, fighting a Jonin level shinobi. And by the end of it all, she doesn't even complain. Sasuke taps Sarada on the forehead, walks away, leaves Sakura there empty-handed. No kiss, no hug, no finger in the pussy, no Trump memes to go around. She was there preparing dinner for her daughter. She was there catering to her husband, even though her husband's never around. And she never complains. Like, she used to complain a lot. But that's her character development, and that's where, again, I have a newfound respect for her because after all the BS she went through in this week's episode, partially because of Sasuke, keep in mind, and we can get into that, but you don't even need to cover all that stuff, right? We don't need to cover the whole reason why, we are where we are today. We are here. You have to respect Sakura for the fact that She is a single mother and she's doing a damn good job at being one. It's easy for us dudes to talk shit, right? But if you're a woman in her position, even though she made her own bed and she fell in love with Sasuke, and this is the result of, falling in love with Sasuke, you can't tell me Sakura's a bad mother. You can easily make the argument that Sasuke's a bad father, though. So in one department, Sakura is, yes, a better character than Sasuke. Now I want to speak to the anime-only viewers for a second. What do you guys think about all the Shin clones betraying the father, the original one, just stabbing this dude saying, "You weak piece of shit, we ain't got no use for you no more, we ain't following you no more"? When I read that in the manga, I'm like, damn, like I didn't expect it to go that way, but it makes total sense because this father, all he's feeding to these kids is be strong, and if you're weak, you're going to die, you gotta evolve, you can't worship anybody weak, you gotta take out the weak, and you gotta love the strong. That's the ideology that he's feeding his kids. So normally his kids, hearing that time and time again, they see this weak piece of shit on the edge, even though that's their father, they don't care because the only thing the father instilled into them is that the weak suck. And that's what's so scary about the future and technology. You see, we're already living in a world where family values pretty much are fading away. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, shit is scary because, I grew up in a traditional household. My mom was Russian, and if you know anything about, Eastern cultures, the mothers raise their kids a certain type of way. And the love you get from a good mother is irreplaceable. So here you've got all of these experiments, and they were raised so rough from the start. They were never shown any love. And their whole existence is just tragic, and it's toxic because that spreads. When Sasuke was planning on killing these guys, before of course, Shin, the main one, stuck his own kid and even got Sasuke like that, to where Sasuke used his Rinnegan swap with Sakura. Sakura got this dude really good in the jaw. I love that shit, right? I understand where Sasuke was coming from when he wanted to get rid of all these clones, because at some point, man, when you don't teach a child love, and when you never give a child love, you're basically gonna raise a savage. Like, at some point, these kids are just savages. Like, you gotta take them out. They're fucking animals. I'm a realistic person. I believe in love, but I also believe that humans are conditioned creatures. And at some point, man, when all a kid sees is death, suffering, pain, that's the reality that they're going to bring with them. And that's where Naruto's naive, because there's going to be threats time and time again that are a result of his weak freaking policies of just not getting rid of tragedies, of savages. How are you going to take all these Shins that just stabbed to death their father and have Kabuto raise them? Like, I know Kabuto's changed, but man, oh man, something ain't gonna go right, alright? Like, some of these Shins are probably gonna get bored of Kabuto. They're gonna stab Kabuto while he's, like, jerking off, and they're gonna, like, go to the Hidden Leaf Village and just try and have some fun and blow shit up. But this is a Naruto world, and savages will give up their savage tendencies in, like, 5 seconds from being taught no jutsu. Because let's be honest, even though I would have been scared shitless from the nine-tailed fox, I'm here trying to attack Naruto, and you got this big monster just, looking into your existence and, basically just putting you in your place, I'm not going to be giving up all my savage tendencies that I've been raised with my entire life in a couple seconds. I'm not going to just be like, hey, yeah, you could, take me out anytime and we could go out for dinner. Like, no, this shit was ingrained into them. If I were Naruto and Sasuke, I would have just taken them all out. Just kill off all the Shin clones. It's sad, it's tragic, but it's just reality. Man, what an amazing episode this week, guys. Even Sarada got some redeeming when she basically took out the plankton and basically saved Sakura and stopped, the revival of the father who just got stabbed by his own children. I did feel like the Sharingan activation was a little bit convenient right at the perfect time as these things were just about to hit her, but it does make sense because she did trigger the Sharingan beforehand, so I guess she sort of got a feel for it. She takes out the plankton and stopped Naruto Gaiden from running 2 more episodes. And if there's one moment where I was just laughing my ass off is when you had these big giant Shins, right? And you got some that were also kind of chubby and fat. And here's Chocho, out of all these hundreds of Shins, the comment that she makes is, whoa, there's chubby ones too. And Sarada says something along the lines of like, yeah, some aren't created right. I'm like, if there's any way of low-key dissing your best friend in the most savage of ways, you gotta take some notes from Sarada right there. That was freaking cold. That being said, Naruto Gaiden is over. We're about to jump into new Boruto material. Do you feel like Sasuke still mistreated his daughter and he should have, did more than just just freaking tapping her on the forehead. I certainly do. And I wanted to quickly mention, if you're a Double 4 anime fan in Florida, Puerto Rico, or any of the Caribbean islands that's, in the proximity of Hurricane Irma, as it's gonna basically, wipe through all these areas, please freaking evacuate. Please don't risk that shit. I went through Hurricane Katrina in 2005. It was terrible, all right? Ain't none of you deserve to go through that.